Hey, come here. Let me show you something. Hello Miners, welcome back. Today we are going to be playing some Sneak and Show. For those of you who don't know what this deck is or haven't been around the channel for a while, this is a blue-based combo deck that is relying on cheating some big, fat, unbeatable creature into play earlier than it should be able to with the help of Show and Tell or Sneak Attack. Both of them are ways that you can cheat on the mana cost of some big creature or basically anything to get it into play here. So the whole plan of this deck is to use our fast mana to be able to Show and Tell or Sneak Attack ahead of curve to then be able to cheat one of our big ass fatties into play. This deck used to 100% be on Emrakul and Griselbrand as the two finishers, but recent printings over the years have actually greatly diversified the number of finishers that we theoretically have in this deck. And I think the debate between Griselbrand and Atraxa being the better card draw fatty has kind of finally been resolved. That Atraxa is just the best option. You see more cards for less life, so you don't have to be in these weird situations where you can get one into play and then have to wait for it to swing or put yourself within like burn range to be able to draw cards. Archon of Cruelty has also been a great addition because one of the weaknesses this deck used to have is all of your finishers were legendary. So if you ever ran up against a Death and Taxes deck, a lands deck, anything with Karakas, they basically made your Show and Tells pointless because they just bounce whatever you cheated into playback. Omniscience and Sneak Attack both kind of sort of get around that, but being able to have a non-legendary fatty to be able to put into play to end the games is a huge boost for this deck. Also, Vesuvian Drifter is an interesting new addition to the deck as well. It's another pseudo Show and Tell or Sneak Attack. It's actually a creature that can turn into another creature on top of your library at the beginning of the combat. So it's another way to be able to get something into play and transform it into one of these big fatties to be able to swing it in with. So it kind of increases the consistency of the deck. A couple other changes. Lorien Reveal is kind of in every blue deck. Now, it's a blue card to pitch to Force of Will. It's a land. Late game, it can turn into a draw 3 if you need it. I rarely ever see that mode come up unless you're playing a control deck, but it is what it is. With this huge abundance of blue-based tempo decks between Grixis, Dimir, Temur Delver, Izzet Delver, all that stuff, 2 main deck Veil Summers to try to help main deck fight against all the counter magic that's running around right now. One thing you will notice is we do have a full 4 Force of Will, 2 Dazes. The counter magic in this deck is almost exclusively to protect our own combo. There are times it could be shit button against something like Reanimator or Storm, but it's mostly just to protect our combo. Full 8 cantrips to be able to cycle through the deck, and the whole game plan is just slam a Show and Tell or a Sneak Attack as quickly as possible and just destroy your opponent with something huge. I will warn, this used to be my main deck. This was my first real tier legacy deck that I ever built back in the day. This deck is inherently clunky, having a bunch of stuff that you cannot outright cast in the form of Emrakul, Atraxa, Archon of Cruelty, stuff like that. It does suck when that gets stuck in your hand and you don't have a way to get it into play. One of the things that made me kind of get off of this deck as well is the fact that there would be multiple times I'd be able to get set up to be able to finish the game, and you just can't find the finisher, or you have everything set up and you just need the enabler and you just can't find it. There have been multiple times where I've been able to Show and Tell in an Omniscience, cantrip into cantrip into cantrip into cantrip, and just never find a finisher in time. Or the opposite, I'll have everything set up to be able to go off, and I just can't find a Show and Tell. I can't find a Sneak Attack despite multiple cantrips. So this deck is kind of inherently clunky. Mulliganing is a big thing with this deck. So we'll see if that pops up at all while we're playing with it, but it is something to keep in mind if you do want to play this deck. The sideboard, whole bunch of various things here. You've got Spell Pierce, Defense Grid to help fight against other counters. Carpet of Flowers is to increase your mana count against blue grindy decks, so you could theoretically cast some of your big creatures there if the game's going to go long and your opponent's going to have a bunch of islands. Grafdigger's Cage for Reanimator and Storm style decks. Magus of the Moon for those greedy Beanstalk decks or lands decks. Brother's Hood End, good sweeper against aggro style decks such as Death and Taxes, also good against artifact decks such as 8 Cast, any of the Saga Storm decks, the Mystic Forge decks, and then Fury to clean up creatures and be able to kind of block profitably in like the initiative matchups and stuff like that. So we're going to take this through, see if I can dust the rust off. I have not played Show and Tell in a while. I think the last time I played it was on stream where I managed a trophy with it, with the help of the viewers guiding me through a couple of the harder matchups. But we're going back to Kraut's first Legacy deck and seeing how it can do in 2024. Catch y'all in the wrap-up. All right, time for some Sneak and Show. This is kind of an awkward hand, but I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. We need a fatty, but we've got so much other stuff. We'd like a red land too, but we've got a Force of Will to defend, we've got a Ponder, and we've got a turn 2 Show and Tell, assuming we can find something to do with it. So I think we're going to go ahead and keep this one. See what we can find. Alright, Wasteland's a little awkward. That's probably going to blow up our Otawara. Hopefully we can find some lands. Okay, that is a land. I am fine throwing our Otawara away then. So this could be Maverick, this could be Death and Taxes. Whoa, shit. Okay. I mean, we're gonna see how much they value. Yeah, we're just gonna see how much they value all of, or their land. And hope that this isn't like a turn 1 Thalia or something. Or turn 2 Thalia. Because that does... Okay, so this is probably Beans control then. Which if they just want to get down to Beans, I am totally fine with that. Because we are going to have single sneak attack. Okay. Beans is fine. How many counters do you have, opponent? I can get through 1. Alright, let's go. Let's show our opponent a little something something. How many counters you got, buddy? None! Oh! Go ahead, Bowmaster's away, opponent. That is totally fine. Can you deal with a turn 2 spaghetti monster? Oh, right, I gotta choose the cast with Omniscience. Forgot you actually have to choose a separate option here. Alright, they cannot deal with the turn 2 big spaghetti monster. Alright, how do we want to sideboard against Beans? I think we want defense grids. Probably want spell pierces. Magus seems interesting. And Carpet of Flowers seems interesting. How do we change from this? Veil is good. As much as I don't want to, I half want to take out the Force of Wills. They're card disadvantage in this matchup, which sucks. But we're also bringing in more counters and more ways to deal with their counters, so I think Spell Pierces and Defense Grids are a good replacement for Force of Will. Gotta find 3 other things to get rid of here. Omniscience is definitely our best target here. They're not gonna have a ton of creatures, and I don't think they run Caracas, so there's a part of me that kind of wants to take the Archons out. Don't really want to touch any of this stuff. Veil of Summer is still very good for what we're trying to do here. Lorien Revealed is a guaranteed land drop. But I'm kind of tempted to take out Lorien Revealed and the Archons. They're going to have so many cards in hand. Just discarding a single card I feel like isn't going to do a ton. So I'm thinking maybe take out that pile. The other argument would be don't bring in the Maguses, but the Beans decks are very, very greedy on their mana base. So I actually really like that. Bowmasters I don't really give a shit about. So yeah, I think we're going to try bringing in this pile of 7 and run it like that. So this is a lot of card draw and a sneak attack. This is kind of weak. Like, this is bad up against potentially a Bowmaster heavy hand. And I've got no defense, but I can sculpt my hand pretty well, and I've got a payoff card. I think we're going to give it a try and keep it. Alright, opponent's just starting off with a ponder. That's kind of to be expected. Chooses to shuffle. Okay. I don't hate days. We're just going to imitate what they're doing right now. City, Brainstorm, Scalding Tarn. Let's see, we know we're drawing one of these unless we want to shuffle also. We could probably use the mana. So I'm thinking let's do something like this. Because next turn we can shuffle, then Brainstorm. And then we've got another Brainstorm, or another shuffle effect if we want it. We also have a Daze to try to stop. Okay, are they just going to try to take out my mana, or are they going to Beans? Okay, so this actually isn't bad because we kind of set up to be able to play around land destruction by keeping extra lands. And knowing that we have another land coming, I'm just going to go ahead and play this and pass the turn. I don't need to shuffle or ponder or anything because I wouldn't mind hitting that fourth land now. Opponent's brainstorming, okay. Do I want to fight over the beans? I feel like this is a yes. Let's get a non-wastelandable land out of the way now. And we can brainstorm, hopefully find another land. Okay, so we're finding lands, but we don't have a red land. Let's put back brainstorm into Trop. We're going to try to fight over this source of card advantage. If this gets another counter out of their hand, I'm okay with it. Alright, so we're shutting off their card advantage at the moment. And then let's ponder for ourselves. The nice part is we have a good amount of mana here. We probably want to keep the Atraxa. And then we will just shuffle with ponder next turn. Like, our mana's a little awkward. I would love a red source to be able to get this sneak attack down. But it's also unprotected, which is the unfortunate point. Alright, they had another beanstalk. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. So we can ponder. They can't bowmaster us here. I like the Scalding Tarn. So we're going to keep the Scalding Tarn. We'll play the Scalding Tarn. And then we're probably going to fetch Brainstorm, try to find some kind of protection to attempt to force this sneak attack through with. Murktide Regents. This might be worth fighting over here. Let's see if we can fight over this at all. Okay, so Daze is at least protection. Unfortunately, if they have a Force of Will, they can fucking pay for it. Put back the Trop, put back the Scalding Tarn for now. Wasteland, okay. What? That's mostly fine. We kept a fetch on top. This Murktide is a little annoying, but we can survive it. So let's see. If we can hit a Lotus Petal, if we can force this through, we're good. This screams Bowmaster, but I think we have to risk it. Like, if they got the Bowmaster, they got the Bowmaster. Yep, there's the Bowmaster. We kind of expected that. We're also kind of just in Hail Mary territory here. Like, a show and tell would be nice. Ooh, defense grid's interesting, but are we just dead? We need multiple red sources to do this all in one turn. Let's put that back. We will put Emrakul back, because we're just drawing that anyways. We are going to go ahead and shuffle here. See if we can pick up a second days. Or maybe we luck out and we hit a show and tell? No. Unfortunately, I don't have the mana to activate and do it all on the same turn, so unfortunately we lost this one. Okay, well we can go in round 3, which is fine. Being on the play is going to help immensely. I think we just run it back. Single land, but it's unwastelandable. Double show and tell. I think we're going to keep this. Hope that this finds us answers. More lands and a payoff. It's a little wonky. Opponent is mulliganing hard, though, so hopefully we can hit, like, a fast land and a payoff for one of these show and tells real quick. The nice part is our land is unwastelandable at the moment. Okay, that is a city and a land. Yep, we'll grab this. This is good. I actually like that we hit a whole bunch of lands here. Because I can play a land, shuffle away, and then brainstorm. Or I can just play the brainstorm. It gets me one card deeper, so I know one of these is a City of Traders. So I can either brainstorm to see 2 cards, and then shuffle, or I can shuffle, then brainstorm to see 3 fresh cards, but then I potentially brainstorm lock myself. So I think it's better to brainstorm and be able to shuffle so I don't brainstorm lock myself here. Omniscience, brainstorm, City of Traders. Put back City. Put back City, and then we're just going to draw a City next turn and go for it. We have the Omniscience. We have double days to try to force this through. And then we're hoping that we can brainstorm. And we don't brainstorm lock ourselves. Alright, let's see where this goes. They can pay for 2 days if they got a Force of Will. So we might just let this first one go. Force of Negation, pitching Stifle. I think we'll let that go. We'll try again next turn. If they want to waste our City of Traders, I'm kind of fine with that. They are going to waste it. That drops them down a land. I want to say we have another City of Traders on top, if I remember correctly. Yes, so we're just going to go for it again. How many counters do you have, opponents? You can pay for 1 days. Ooh. Bowmasters. Unfortunately, this is going to hurt. So we're going to have to hope that we can find our own way. Okay, Atraxa is very good. I like that. Put back a daze, put back a land. Get our Schwacks in. Let these resolve. Alright, we're going to cast this just to get it out of the way now. Alright, cool. There was a timing issue there that wasn't very good. We're going to take days. Omniscience. Volcanic. I don't have another cantrip, unfortunately. Magus. And I scooped up anyways. We got there. Alright, got one under our belt already. I like it. Alright, round 2. I am on the play. Let's see what we can get here. 1 land, a payoff, a daze. We're leaning hard as fuck on these brainstorms. I think we gotta ship this one. Okay, this we can keep. Unfortunately, this is an unprotected show and tell. I guess we put the redundant Atraxa back. We're gonna make them think... Well, actually, this is a turn 1 show and tell into an Atraxa. I think we just try to go for it. Like, we don't know what the opponent's on. There's so many Stompy decks going around that I think we just slam it and force check them. Because there's a high probability they don't have Force of Will. But they do. Chucking a Lorien. Okay. Well, we got 2 cards out of their hand. We have a Soul Land on the field. Another show and tell can get an Atraxa into play. If they just want to wasteland this, I'm kind of okay with it. We have a backup Soul Land. Another show and tell? No. Veil of Summer. I think we just pass the turn. I mean, it's what you do with combo decks. You just force check your opponent sometimes. This might be another Beans matchup. Which, if it is, that sucks, but whatever. Beans is absolutely fucking everywhere right now. It's like Beans and Stompy. Yep, it's another Beanstalk deck. I mean, the nice part is we have a Veil of Summer as well if we can find green mana. Sneak Attack is interesting. Unfortunately, I think we have to give up this city. I don't like it, but we gotta start building our mana toward being able to sneak attack. Damn. Yeah, I think this one might be over now. Should have held on to it, but I didn't. Alright, well, there's a land. Well, we had to try to force check them. I mean, it's what you do. Luckily, we kind of know how we want to sideboard this matchup anyways, currently. Leovold. Okay. Leovold's kind of whatever. It makes... Unfortunately, we do have to play out our lands here and expose them to Wasteland. We need another Soul Land to get this... God damn it. Yeah, this one's pretty over at this point, unfortunately. Like, I'll keep playing it out. There are still ways to get out of this, but they're slim at this point. And I have to keep exposing my lands to Wasteland. The nice part is one of the Force of Wills is out of the way, but there's probably a high probability... Oh my god, triple fucking Wasteland? God damn. Yeah, fuck, man. Triple Wasteland. I mean, we keep hitting our lands, so we're not dead yet. If they have the 4th Wasteland, that is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Alright. No 4th Wasteland. I'm assuming they have a bunch of permission in their hand. Either that or a bunch of removal. Because they're not playing anything out. Either that or they're trying to get us with a fucking Bowmasters. That card's useless. They're either holding up Bowmasters to try to fuck us up here. Alright, they want the Force of Will back, which is fine. It just means we have to either wait for a green source or we have to force our way through another Force of Will. They can hardcast the Force of Will now, too. That's an Odawara. Like, we're slowly getting to where we need to be here. I'm not quite dead yet, but I'm very close. Like, this Leovold is still causing issues. Like, I'm on a 3-turn clock. I basically need to rip green source into Soul Land to even have a shot here. And that's not gonna cut it. Okay. Womp. Triple Wasteland was absolutely fucking brutal. So, the nice part is we kind of know how to board this one already. Bring in Magus, bring in Spell Pierce, take out Archon, Lorien Revealed, Force of Will. Move these Grafdiggers out of the way, pull the 7 for 7, and try running it back, see if we can get the next 2 games. Alright, let's get the next 2 games. There's no colored mana in this whatsoever, so we gotta ship it. Okay, this isn't bad. We can keep this. Let's chuck a city and hope that these Ponders can find us some additional mana. Lotus Petal Magus is actually pretty fucking sweet. Show and tell. Magus, pedal. Do not shuffle my library. Cast the pedal. And then just see if I can slam a Magus and shut him off of doing anything. They're on the bug version. Okay, it's not a wasteland. They are going to have an opportunity here to fetch a basic. Really? Hydroblast. Well, let's see if we got the force to back it up. Oh, okay. Alright, they managed to get through a Magus. However, we took a lot of counters out of their hand. And we set them back a land drop. Carpet of Flowers, okay. I guess we're gonna force check them again. Because I believe, if I remember what we put back, this is a show and tell on top. Alright, let's force check them again. Damn, double days. Okay. A little unfortunate. I think the next card's a land, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, though. Okay, that was actually the better land for them to target for our purposes. Because we still have mana to be able to ponder. And we do have a land anyways, so... I don't think any of this particularly matters. Because we're gonna shuffle. Grab a land anyway, so let's drop an island. Unfortunately, I probably should have played the Scalding Tarn there now that I actually think about it. Them just having double days and Hydroblast kind of sucked. Because unfortunately now we give them 2 mana to do something with, which they decide to do. Into a Beanstalk. Okay. I mean, sometimes you just gotta go for it, unfortunately. Jesus, how many fucking counterspells did they have in this opening hand? God damn. Two blue. Is this a Murktide region, or is this going to be an Uro? Looks like a Murktide. Alright, into an Atraxa. We're on a 4-turn clock from this Murktide currently. Turn that into a 3-turn clock because of Bowmasters now. So I basically have to hope for them to be out of counterspells. Alright, so I need them to be out of counterspells, and I need to top deck a show and tell right the fuck now. Well, sometimes your opponent just has a god hand. I mean, it happens. Show and tell? Lotus Petal. Nope. Alright. I mean, sometimes your opponent has a god hand. It happens. Alright. On to the next one. Alright, round 3 on the play. Let's see if we can get this. So this is interesting, where we're relying super heavy on these brainstorms, but I gotta ship this one. Another no-lander. Gotta ship this one as well. Okay, this we will keep. I think... Put back Atraxa. Put back a land, I think. Oh, we're just gonna run out of land to start. Opponent mulligan to 6. No idea what they're on. Alright, Verdant. I swear to God, if this is Beans again. Swamp, okay. Troll Cycling. So this might be mono black combos? Scrubland. That's interesting. Another land. I'm a little worried about Wasteland from the opponent here. So I can actually play City of Traders, play Vesuvian Drifter, and try to get that down now, and then that still leaves me mana to be able to do other things. That might just be the route that I go here. I'm a little worried about the white mana, but I think I'm okay with the Vesuvian Drifter getting solituded, rather than Atraxa getting solituded. I was gonna say, we know the Scalding Tarn is on top. We're not gonna show them what it is. And we can actually swap over to Atraxa next turn if this doesn't die. So if this manages to live, we can put Atraxa back on top of our deck. Okay, Bowmasters is fine. I don't really care about that. Since we're going to do it on our turn, even drawing off of Bowmasters isn't going to do anything. And we're going to gain the life back anyways. So we know a Scalding Tarn is on top. Tap that. Let it go away. I think we are going to just take our Brainstorm hit here. Okay. That is fan-fucking-tastic. We're going to go ahead and put Emrakul back on top, turn this into an Emrakul, and then just destroy their fucking board. It's all going face, that's fine. We are going to turn this into a Emrakul. We're going to swing and annihilate your board. See if you're able to rebuild from here. And they scoop it up. Alright, so they are on white-black something. Being as they have creatures, I'm thinking bringing the Furies. They have Troll, so I think they have Reanimate bullshit. I don't think we need Veil of Summers. Probably Tremlorian revealed. Show and Tell can go badly, because they probably put something big and scary into play, so maybe trim a Show and Tell? Try something like that? Yeah, we'll try that. Alright, what do we got here? I don't hate this. I think we're going to go ahead and keep it. Because I can stop reanimation bullshit on turn 1, assuming they don't just scam me out of the game here. And if they scam me, so be it. But this can stop some troll shenanigans. So, okay. So it doesn't look like they have it right off of the bat here. Emrakul. That is interesting. But we're going to play it a little slow. We're just going to grab Digger's Cage, stop any kind of reanimator shenanigans they could have out of here. So this, hopefully they were like trying to bank on reanimating a troll. Is this Bowmasters? Oh, it's a Taxes style deck. Okay. So I can probably just slowly work my way up to this. I think I'm gonna just work my way up to being able to hard cast this fucking Fury next turn to clear the way for the Show and Tell into an Emrakul, hopefully. Like, I would not mind them committing more to the board here, so that this Fury next turn is going to be just absolutely fucking devastating. Unfortunately, it is probably going to... Well, it definitely is going to cost me my Lotus Petal. So there's some kind of blue-white, or white-black Taxes deck, which is interesting. Got another Black Source, so they're playing around Blood Moon effects. Are they just Dark Ritualing out of Grief? No, Children. Okay. That's actually not the worst thing in the world. Unfortunately, it does mean Fury's only taking out one creature, but Fury can also block Shouldering. Vesuvian Drifter's interesting, but I think we're going to stick with the plan here. Because this profitably blocks Shouldered. And then this should leave me with the ability to either Show and Tell or Vesuvian Drifter next turn. Unless they have multiple discard spells. It also gives us the ability to Ponder and do one of them also. Is this just a Sword to Plowshares? Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, that's fine. For Cauldra? Yes. They're gonna try to do Cauldra shenanigans, which is fine. Go ahead, get in with that Shouldered. I fucking dare ya. Okay. Ooh. Sneak Attack is interesting. So what? I can Show and Tell in Sneak Attack, activate to put Emrakul in? You can put in your... Okay, they're F6. Put your call... Dauthi Voidwalker. Interesting. Do you have the white... Nope, they did not have the white card Solitude. Alright, we got there. Got another one under our belt. That sneak attack off the top was clutch. Very nice. On to the next one. Alright, on the play again. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm liking the die rolling so far. Okay, I actually really like this. This is a little bit slow, but it gives us multiple attempts to get something on the battlefield. This is going to suck if our opponent is on some super fast combo deck. Or if they're on like a super fast stompy deck, because we have 0 defense. A Soul Land off the top would be the absolute best thing possible here. But if we're up against a control deck, this is actually very good, because we have so many things to try to force through. See what our opponent does here. A Scam start would also be kind of brutal, but luckily we've got... I mean, they could also just scam our 2 payoffs instead of our enabler, but we'll see what they do. Alright, Fetch Land is already starting off good that it's something slow. Okay, this looks like Delver. This could also be Storm, actually, now that I think about it. A Fetch Land into a Bobble could be Storm as well. But they're not doing anything yet. So either a Soul Land to try to start jamming, or some kind... Okay, Force of Will is good. I like that. We now have backup for something crazy. We are probably going to try to slam Vesuvian Drifter first. So then, in theory, the following turn, if we have something good on the top of our library, we can just swing in and annihilate the opponent. And if they try to do anything too crazy, we absolutely will pitch one of these Show and Tells for a Force of Will. Okay, I mean, this could still be Storm. Okay, nope, it's Delver, okay. Okay, Wasteland is annoying. Show and Tell is a safe bet if we can get it through, more so than Vesuvian Drifter. Because they have very few ways to deal with a Resolved Archon. And if we fight a counter war over this, that's kind of fine. Not sure what they can put in here. I don't think they have anything that really matters. Oh, just another Wasteland? Okay. Like I said, once we get a big fatty on the battlefield, Delver doesn't really have a good way of dealing with it. Like, they can bounce it with a Brazen Borrower if they have one. But typically Delver has one main deck Brazen Borrower. We also have an Atraxa to back this up now if we want to. And we have the backup land in case they want to just get rid of this Volcanic. Which they are, which is fine. We have another land. We have multiple lands to back this up now. We are going to go to combat first to make them tap out if they have the Brazen Borrower. Yep, there's the Brazen Borrower, which is fine. That makes them tap out. Now we go ahead and Show and Tell in the Atraxa to refuel our hand. They think that the Archon's coming back, so whatever their answer is probably to Archon. Whereas now we're just going to drop an Atraxa in, refuel our hand so that we can get more stuff to pitch to this Force of Will instead of just Vesuvan Drifter. Questing Druid, so they're on Temur. Got it. We're going to grab Enchantment, Land, Sorcery, Artifacts. Because we don't have a way to get the Omniscience into play. And now we can just pass the turn. I could Ponder here, but I'd rather have the Ponder to be able to chuck to this Force of Will. Also, they already blew their one main deck, whatchamacallit? Let's get rid of the redundant land that I don't need. Like, I could have pondered there to move my hand around even more, but I think they're just dead. Like, they already blew their Brazen Borrower. I don't see what their way of dealing with the Atraxa on board is at this point. Like, I really don't know how they deal with it since their main deck Brazen Borrower is gone. Alright, they're still fighting the fight. I mean, maybe they have more? But I've never seen one of these decks with multiple main deck Brazen Borrowers to be able to deal with all of this shit. And they know the sneak attack is in my hand. What they don't know is the fact that I can play it. Vapor Snag. We're gonna go ahead and force that. We'll let this resolve. I mean, I can pay for a Daze, I can pay for a Spell Pierce, like, I can pay for anything they do here. So main deck Vapor Snag is interesting. I think I'm gonna play it a little slow here. I'm not just gonna slam this sneak attack. That's a guaranteed land. That's another mana source. Let's put back. Put back, put back. We're not gonna shuffle. I'm going to hold this back in case they have another Wasteland, because next turn the other Lotus Petal allows me to play Sneak Attack and activate it if I... Yep, there's the Wasteland. That way I don't have to... Yeah, I lost my train of thought here. What I'm saying is I'm going to hold this back so that they don't Wasteland it, so I can play and activate Sneak Attack in the same turn if I don't have to protect the Sneak Attack with the Veil of Summer, is what I was trying to say. Alright, so now we play this. Play this. Play Sneak Attack. Activate Sneak Attack. And this gets rid of their last card in hand, and this ensures lethal no matter what happens. Because they can bounce one of these, they're dead regardless, because they're going to lose 3 here. I can attack with Atraxa for lethal, or they bounce Atraxa, I attack for another 9. So yeah, that just guaranteed that we win there. So let's see. The Temur version, what could they bring in? I guess Vapor Snag is actually a common thing main deck now. Did not know that. So what? They bring in Pyroblasts, Force of Negation, and Counterbalance probably. We bring in Carpet of Flowers, Defense Grid, Spell Pierce. Bring in these 7. I'm tempted to cut this 5-pack again. Like, bringing in the defense grids makes me want to just cut almost all of the counter magic, but I still need some. Vesuvian Drifter seems like the biggest liability here. Unholy Heat can kill it. Something to be said about maybe cutting the Dazes. But they operate on such a low land count. I feel like maybe I take the Vesuvian Drifters out. They seem like a liability in this matchup. They actually can die to their removal, and they die to Pyroblasts. So, yeah, I think we're going to try that. There's something to be said about also bringing in Fury to try to mop up the little creatures. But I don't know. We'll see. I feel like in general this matchup is pretty favored for show and tell because we just have to force something through. If we had mana, this would be a great fucking hand, but it has 0 mana. I think we're gonna keep this. We'll bin the sneak attack and hope that I can draw a blue source and that they don't just wasteland the City of Traders into oblivion, because we're going to try to slam one of these defense grids and we're going to hope that our City of Traders lives. Hopefully they're not on a wasteland heavy hand and I get my blue source here soon. Like, one-landers are always a risk. They're brainstorming, so they're either looking for an answer or they're looking for a wasteland. But my money's on looking for an answer for this. Yes, they found the days. Okay, so that gets a days out of hand. If they don't wasteland this city, we can try to do it again. If they wasteland the city, then we just have to pray to the magic gods for mana. Okay, just replaying the island and plays a Delver. That's fine. Please give me blue mana off of the top here. Blue mana and fade one. Ooh, Atraxa's not good. Unfortunately, this does show that we are very weak to Wasteland right now. Another days. Okay. So we might not be playing Magic if we don't hit a blue source off the top here. We are also very much showing that we are weak to a Wasteland right now. Not revealing whatever they're showing here. If they drop away, okay, they're not dropping the Wasteland. They're just sticking on their island, which is fine. However, now all of our defenses are down. But we have worked them through 2 of their counter spells. But they're leaving mana up and not doing anything. Okay. The problem is like, I kind of just have to go for this. Because there's no guarantee I'm going to get mana again anytime soon. So I'm just firing this off into the face of a Force of Will. Or any other counter magic. Like, I just have to slam it. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Will. Okay. So, we are up against the classic Delver has every goddamn fucking counter in the game. But luckily, we are now Wasteland proof. Okay, Unholy Heat doesn't do anything. But we need to find a way out of this quickly. And it looks like they're stuck on a one-lander as well. Yes. Okay, Lotus Petal's not bad. Days Ponder, Emrakul. We gotta shuffle this. We're just looking for lands at this point. And now we're looking for show and tells or sneak attacks. But this is giving our opponent time to get another set of counters in hand, which it looks like they probably have. Since they're not doing anything. Unfortunately, it looks like we're a wee bit brainstorm locked here now. Luckily, we have the Veil of Summer now, so if we can get out of this and find a way to slam something, we have the counter protection, but our opponent also is very much setting up to be able to have multiple counter spells again. Luckily, we have insulated ourselves against Wasteland. But I got 3 turns to get out of this. Draw the Atraxa. Brainstorm looking for a land. Okay, there's a land and a Spell Pierce. I don't think I need the Spell Pierce. We are going to go ahead and fetch for another basic. Because we don't want anything that's on the top of our deck right now. We need an enabler. Whether it's a sneak attack or a show and tell, they're trying to set up to be able to go off next turn. Go fetch a basic. Get this out of the way. Balin's Tomb. And we're going to play it and just hope that they don't have a instant or sorcery on top here. If they can flip the Delver, we're just dead. They probably put Unholy Heat back on top. Nope, Force of Will? Okay. You won, opponent. Good job. Just quadruple fucking counterspell right off the bat into a one-lander sucked. But we can get game 3, that's fine. I don't... Like I said, there's something to be said about kind of wanting to bring these fucking Furies in. But, like, just take out Daze entirely and just play Fury. I might do that, actually. Let's do that. Try taking the Dazes out, play the Fury. I have no free counter spells, but my hope is that I can just slam a defense grid and that they can't deal with it. The fact that they were able to deal with both defense grids and then still had counter magic on top of that sucked. Now we're gonna keep this. The big question becomes is, do I start off with do I start off with Ponder, or do I start off with Brainstorm? And which land do I start with? I think we're gonna go ahead, just lead off on the Scalding turn, and see what we draw next turn to base the turn off of that. Like, there's no point in opening myself up to a Wasteland yet if I don't need to. Delver, DRC, what? Ponder, okay. Chose not to shuffle, okay. What do we draw? We draw an Otawara. I think I'd rather expose that to a Wasteland than my Tropical Island. Show and Tell and Sneak Attack. Let's put the Trop back. Let's actually put Ponder, Trop. We're going to try to Show and Tell in the Sneak Attack. And then we're going to try to Sneak Attack in. So we're going to start by trying to Show and Tell. If that fails, then we just try to play Sneak Attack the following turn. Brainstorm, okay. The question starts just becoming is, how many fucking counter spells does our opponent have? Okay, into a Delver Seekers, that's fine-ish. They probably set up to be able to flip the Delver, which in and of itself is fine. So we are going to wait until next turn to go for this. We've got Misty, Ponder, Scalding turn. I can go one deeper, or I can grab the Ponder, shuffle. We are going to go ahead and stick with the getting unwastelandable mana sources. Grab the mountain, play an island, Ponder again. Omniscience is very good. City of Traders isn't terrible. Let's Misty, Omniscience, City, no shuffle. Because this allows me to try to go for it next turn regardless. Because I have multiple ways to try to force shit through this. Okay, didn't flip it. So the question becomes is, what do they have? Okay, so they're just going to Wasteland? Or are they holding up the Wasteland to be able to hardcast a Force of Negation? No, they're going to pop that now. Okay, that's fine. Alright, how many counters do you have, opponent? The question becomes is, do I want to play the City of Traders now? The City of Traders lets me pay for a Daze. I think I do. Pyroblast? Pyroblast. Okay. So I guess we're going to see what they have next turn, and we're going to just try to slam the sneak attack. Still no flip. Another Wasteland would be kind of bad. No, just a land. We know we got another fetch land on top. Let's see what counter you got now, opponent. Hardcast Force of Negation? Yes, okay. So we are getting counters out of their hand. So now we need to find another payoff here. He still hasn't flipped this fucking Delver. Another Force of Negation I'm gonna have to find my way through, okay. Our next draw is live, though. Is all their hand just fucking permission? Well, oops, undo that. See if they're willing to force this. Is this going to start giving me the mana to just start trying to fuck? No, okay. Interesting. This is going to just start giving me mana to try to hard cast things eventually. I'm currently at 7 mana. I would not mind a Fury off of the top. Veil of Summer, okay. So that gives me some counter protection. Now I just need a payoff of some sort. But I've only got 3 turns, assuming they don't have multiple lightning bolts also. I'm assuming their hand is just a fuckload of counters at this point, unfortunately. Especially considering they're not playing anything. Brainstorm. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this. Let's make a bunch of blue mana. Brainstorm, Lotus Petal, Balin's Tomb. I don't think I need the Lotus Petal. We have mana. I actually think I can put the Tomb back. Shuffle, go grab another red source. Brainstorm again. Spell Pierce. Carpet of Flowers, Petal. That's enough to be able to cast Omniscience next turn and hold up both of my counters, I think. This is exactly 10 mana, if not more, so I need the Petal to be able to pay for a Daze. Let's put back... I'm only going to have 1 mana to be able to actually cast anything. Because I'm going to have 11 mana, unless he plays another island. Let's put back... Put back. Play a Carpet of Flowers. See if this gets a counter out of their hand. No. Okay. Pass a turn. Seek the Beast. Daze and Pyro. Jesus Christ, they hit 2 fucking counters? What the fuck are they doing? Their best bet is just hold up their mana. Actually, these are dead, because they can only play them until their end step. And they did this on their own on the end of my turn, so these are actually gone now. So I think this puts me back in the position where I was. I can guarantee you that you do not have a fucking, whatchamacallit on top. You do not have a motherfucking 10-drop. Alright, let's see what you got on top, buddy. Force of Will is on top. So it is not a 1-drop. Alright. Do I preemptively fire off the Veil of Summer? I don't think I do. We know a Force of Will is on top. There ain't no way you got a fucking 10 drop on top. There's also no way they don't have a blue card to pitch either. Force of Negation. Pitching Vapor Snag. We know the Force of Will is on top. Do you have another counter for the Veil of Summer? Daze. Okay. Do you have a whatchamacallit? Do you have a Bolt? Because next turn we drop an Atraxa. Plays a land. Plays a Sectile Aberration. Show me the Bolt. Okay, no Bolt. Need that. And that's, you definitely do not have a 7 drop on top. They had a fucking Murktide on top? Oh my god, you have got to be shitting me. Holy fuck. Okay. Damn, got by the Murktide. Fuck. Just randomly. Just random ass Murktide on top blind. Holy fuck. Okay, I can't even be mad at that. Alright, final round. We've got a Force of Will to protect ourselves here, but we still need a lot of mana and we have no cantrips. I think we gotta ship it. This one we can keep. Let's put back the pedal for now. And let's hope our opponent is not on some kind of degenerate combo deck. This is screaming Beans vibes to me already. So we'll see how we can do up against Beans here. But this could be a multitude of things. Okay, Show and Tell's not bad. We have a Shuffle next turn if we need it. I actually like all of this. The Veil's the only thing that I can't actually cast. So we'll put this back. We're a little mana tight, so I'd like to avoid getting wastelanded if we can. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely Beans. I'm not sure what they're holding up here, or why they wouldn't just slam a Beans, but this is very, very much Beans. I mean, we're already leaning into this. I want to find another blue card. Oh, holy fuck. Okay. Alright, we go for it next turn with, I wish I had double Force of Will, but single Force of Will ain't bad. Oh, this might actually be like Stiflenought or something. Interesting. If they just run out a couple of Dreadnoughts, I'm actually okay with that. Oh, it's just an Uro. That is totally fine. I'm totally fine with them just running out an Uro and not being able to draw off of it. Alright, opponent, we're gonna get to see how many counter spells you have. Apparently, the answer is none. And I have a Force of Will for a Solitude if he tries to pop that into play here. And they don't. Alright, so this is Uro Stiflenought, probably? Carpet of Flowers, Defense Grid, Spell Pierce. There's something about Magus as well. We're probably going to do what we normally do here. Again, it feels really weird bringing in Spell Pierces. Like, bringing in any counter magic when I'm bringing in Defense Grids feels weird, but because Veil of Summer I can cast preemptively on my turn, so I'm fine keeping that in, but I'm half thinking we should just take these fucking Dazes out, to be honest. Do something like this. I'm tempted to bring in Magus, but I'm sure they have Solitudes. So let's try running something like that. Alright, I don't hate this, but I very much need a payoff. Or an enabler, I should say. But I don't have cantrips either. This isn't a bad just bide my time. So I think we're gonna keep this. Okay, I like sneak attack. That actually works super, super well. It sucks I'm doing this. But we're gonna try to get down this carpet of flowers. If it gets a counter out of their hand, it gets a counter out of their hand. Okay, it got a daze out of their hand, which I'm fine with. The hope is that they don't just wasteland this, because this is my only green source for Veil of Summer. Leyline Binding is also a thing that could get rid of our sneak attack. Or our Emrakul. Let's play the Balin's Tomb. Or the Ancient Tomb. Fucking reading the card instead of what it actually is, you know. Alright, so we're both kind of just biding our time here. And then I'm going to try to preemptively fire off Veil next turn, I think. So, the other problem I have here... Oh, Defense Grid's actually really good. We will take the damage to do this. Because then this allows us to try to go off next turn if this doesn't get countered, and we can fight over that. Wow. They have enough mana to pay for it, is the problem, if they have a force. So we are going to wait until next turn, preemptively fire off the Veil. They could have a Leyline Binding to try to deal with this on their turn. That is definitely something that can happen. Well, we are going to try to fire off a Veil of Summer next turn and see what happens. A Lotus Petal to be another green source off the top would be great here. Alright, we're going to see if this resolves. And if this doesn't resolve, then we're just going to ponder and try to do this again next turn. Hard counterspell, okay. That's actually kind of okay. Don't shuffle, we're going to draw the ponder. Omniscience, Balin's Tomb, Scalding Tarn. I think we're going to go ahead and Eddy order this and shuffle. Alright. The hope is that we can just keep them off of wastelanding away our green source, because that is... Alright. So, I mean, we're just going to do it again, depending on what we draw here. Try to preemptively drop one of these. How many fucking counterspells do you have, opponents? Well, we're almost to the point where we can just hard cast Emrakul. We're at 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11 mana. Vesuvan Drifter's interesting. See if we can get this through. This really interesting. So they let that go. Do they have a removal spell is the question. Getting them to tap out is the best thing that can happen here. Okay, so they did have a removal spell, but we know we're grabbing a ponder. Let's ponder. Brainstorm Island, and we can't shuffle? Alright, since we have double sneak attack, I think we just fucking go for it. Or do we wait for next turn? We wait for next turn so we can double sneak attack and still activate it. They have the mana to be able to Leyline Binding also. Another Ancient Tomb. Can I just actually hardcast this Emrakul? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? No. Unfortunately, I do have to tap both. Hardcast Force of Negation, okay. Does this one resolve? Force of... God damn it, okay. Alright, well... Now we gotta find another payoff. They just had all the fucking counter magic in the world, apparently. But it doesn't seem like they got much else going on over there, which is good. What are they doing over there? Just getting a bunch of lands back, okay. And an Uro, okay. So Uro's coming back next turn. 3 of the cards in their hand are lands. 2 of the cards in their hand are lands. A Troxo, which I can't actually cast. Unfortunately, Uro's coming back. If I don't hit a payoff to be able to get something into play, I think I just die. Unfortunately. Make him think I might have counter magic or something. Alright, so I know one of the cards in hand is a land. Wasteland's fine. The smart thing is take me off of the blue? Yeah, okay. The funny part is they don't know that I don't actually need that green mana anymore. I can't do anything with it, so... The only thing that stops me from doing is being able to hard cast an Omniscience. Alright, so the question becomes, are they going to try to Wasteland lock me now? Because unfortunately that does stop me from casting Omniscience. They didn't dredge. Question is have we been able to run them out of counter spells yet is the problem. They chose not to shuffle their library though. They also still can dredge Life from the Loam back if they want to. And I still need to actually hit a land to be able to cast this Omniscience. Actually, I specifically need to hit a blue land to be able to cast this Omniscience. And there's a Wasteland, so that route's off the table now. Alright, we got one draw to get out of this and figure out what we can do. Oh, these fucking Beanstalk decks. I mean, granted, I don't think this one actually has Beanstalk, but... These style of decks are just fucking everywhere. Spell Pierce, that doesn't do it. Alright. On to the next one. They are very weak to Blood Moon, it looks like, actually. So I think we're... Yeah, I think we're going to bring in Magus. They seem very, very weak to it, to be completely honest. What the question becomes is, what do we trim for that? Maybe trim the Spell Pierces, just go completely off of the counter magic shit. And just go for a Magus of the Moon. Because it doesn't seem like they're playing any basics whatsoever. I haven't seen any yet. Alright. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. Let's start off with a Brainstorm. A little awkward, but... We're gonna try to get this down while we can. If they want to blow a fucking whatchamacallit on it, that's kind of fine. We are mildly Brainstorm locked, but... Hopefully with all the lands we're drawing, plus this, we'll be able to get enough mana to be able to just fucking hardcast an Omniscience. Or they're just gonna Prismatic Ending this right away, which is whatever. This does mean they're tapped down now, though. And I can pay for days. Okay, that resolved. I'm happy about that. We have one more pseudo-dead draw, but I'm not hating lands. They have another Prismatic Ending to deal with this. If they do, they can't cast it this turn. I would absolutely... Okay, yeah, go ahead. Balance to me. That's... Or Wasteland me. That's fine. I have more. Alright, our next draw is actually live. They shuffled off of their Ponder. Are they mana screwed? Oh no, they played the Wasteland, so probably not. Alright, yeah, they're not mana screwed. So our next draw is actually live. I would love a Magus off of the top here. Like, that would be just fucking phenomenal. Because they're tapped out, they can't do anything, we have our blue source. I'm pretty sure if we can just slam a Magus, it's just game over. We're gonna slam another one of these to be safe. Unfortunately, we were giving them time to do things and find things, but this means counter magic is 100% off of the table now. We just have to find our win con before that happens. Okay, they're leyline binding one of these, which is fine. Do they have a binding for the other one? Alright, this is annoying. Do they have a leyline binding / removal spell for the other defense grid? Yes, they do. Alright, well, my defenses are down now. Counter magic is back online. Alright, let's see what we can find. Show and Tell Archon Petal. I mean, we're basically just going to try to go for it next turn, I guess, and see what counter magic they have, is ultimately what this is going to come down to. It sucks this is the path that we're going, but... And they're just passing with mana up, which means that they have counter magic. I think we're going to wait a turn. What are they doing? Brainstorming? Okay. Wait for one more live draw, or wait for them to tap down and hope for the best here. But they've just got so much counter magic that I don't think any of it particularly matters, is the problem. They're also severely sifting through their deck trying to set up their hand. It sucks that they had answers for both of our defense grids. There's one more in the deck somewhere. Plays a Wasteland. You can attack my mana. That's kind of okay. I'm not particularly worried about that until they start hitting the whole, like... Alright. Next draw is live. Hopefully it's something good. They're just passing the turn, so their hand is just full of interaction of some sort. Emrakul. Okay. I still gotta wait for a hole to actually pop this off in. Or get to a turn where I can try to double spell to try to get through multiple counters. Vesuvian Drifter's interesting. See if this gets something out of their hand. This might just get another leyline binding out of their hand. Unfortunately, we know the next card is dead. Alright, if they have removal, it's sorcery speed. Yep, here's that. Alright, we know a land is coming. I'll just let that go, it's fine. I'd rather have non-wastelandable lands. Another Drifter. See if this resolves. Do you actually have to counter this, or... We can pay for that, though. Are they just trying to restrict our mana? But if this gets multiple counters out of hand, I'm actually okay with that. Alright, I got 2 Dazes out of their hand, which is fine. Alright, so we are working our way through their half a bajillion fucking counters. Like I said, I'd like to get to a point where I can try to double spell in a turn. I'm also halfway to just casting Omniscience. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're just gonna hardcast Omniscience here soon, like... We're at 7 mana. What does our opponent have? God damn. They're just drawing hella lands. Got it. Maybe they're flooded out over there? we're kind of just flooding out as well. Flooding out on fatties. We're both back up to a full grip now. Alright, they're lifing. They're gonna just start trying to wasteland lock us now. Yeah, you can take that, that's fine. Oh my god! Alright, let's just get a fucking thing out of their hand. Like, I know this is incorrect, but we're just gonna start getting counters out of their hands. Yep. Like, we just need to work our way through these counters at this point. If our deck is just gonna give us all the fatties and nothing to do, like, we just have to start going through all the counters. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. We have also barely hit any cantrips this game. There's no point in running out the City of Traders. It's just gonna die at this point. This is just fucking miserable. Like, this is part of the reason why I kind of just stopped playing this deck, to be completely honest. You can get to situations like this where you're actually super well set up to be able to do things, and your deck just draws hot fucking garbage. We're just gonna pitch an Emrakul, shuffle our deck. I mean, luckily our opponent isn't presenting a clock, but they're going to find a creature to kill us with eventually. Like, it's going to happen. Are they just going to try to wasteland lock us even more? No. That is a sneak attack. We are going to try to see if there is some miracle way that we can fucking get our way through this. Let's chuck an Archon. Did they finally find a creature? Murktide region. Okay, so they finally have a clock. I will take one hit from this stupid thing. Okay, I'll fetch. That's fine. Is he just gonna wasteland my Volk? Okay. They're just gonna start trying to wasteland lock me now? Sure. If that's all you're doing, have fucking fun, opponents. This is also why I haven't run out my City of Traders yet. Okay. They're just gonna try to grow this thing to... I mean, they had a 2-turn clock anyway, so I'm not super sure what the point of that was, but... We have gone through a lot of counters, but I'm sure they have a bajillion more. Is this another Murktide? No, Light from Loam, okay. Replays the Wasteland, that's, again, fine. And opponent discards a Wasteland. I mean, it... It's all we can do, we're dead. Like, show us the counterspell, opponent. Yep. Oh, this fucking deck. God damn it. It just failed spectacularly in that final fucking round. God damn it. Alright. Oh well. Alright, so at the end of this was kind of a disappointing 2-3. Especially that last matchup where it just... They had so much counter magic, and... I kind of felt the old adage of don't keep a hand that just has a lock piece and no way to finish the game. Those defense grids getting exiled before I found a way to end the game is what cost me there, because then all of their counter magic was live, and I just couldn't find a way to get a finish room before it was gone and their counter magic was turned back on. So that is definitely a lesson for any of you that are newer to the Legacy format, or just newer to Magic in general. Do not keep hands that don't have a way to finish the game, or a way to find a way to finish the game. It was also super unfortunate that I flooded out on fatties and literally didn't hit any cantrips almost that entire game. But it is something that happens, and like I said in the deck tech, it's an inherently clunky deck, unfortunately. It is why I kind of switched off of playing this deck in paper back in the day and switched to something that was a little more consistent and could attack on multiple axes instead of kind of just having the one game plan of sneak something into play and finish the game that way. There are other versions of this deck that theoretically are able to do that as well. Like I used to be in a Cunning Wish version that leaned more into the Omniscience game plan and being able to finish out the game using Cunning Wish to get Firemind's Foresight and doing a Release the Ants kind of win. And I actually really do like that toolboxy version with Cunning Wish and Intuition a little bit better than the straight up creature only version. That being said, as with all the combo decks right now, the amount of blue-based tempo decks and blue-based control decks that are out there, it is incredibly hostile toward anything that is looking to basically resolve one spell and win the game. However, that's not totally bad news for combo. Just kind of some thoughts I had while I was editing this and while I was playing is it seems like if you're going to go with a combo deck, black is just the better color right now. Hand Disruption seems to be better than Counter Magic in terms of being able to protect your combo. It's just kind of what I've been seeing lately. There's something to be said. I have seen versions of this that splash black for Thoughtseize, for Duress, for stuff like that. I don't know if that's the correct option. It's something I'm going to have to test out and fiddle around with, but it is something I have seen in the past where you go into black for Hand Disruption versus going into green for stuff like Veil of Summer, Carpet of Flowers. So that is something to keep in mind if you do want to do this. Vesuvian Drifter, it was kind of a letdown just in the sense that every time I resolved it, either got removed or there wasn't a fatty on top to be able to do anything with it. So it's a cool idea. It reminds me a lot of Arcane Artisan, which was the tech back in the day when I was playing this, to be able to get around stuff like Containment Priest or any kind of effect like that where cheating creatures into play, exile them instead, Hollowed Moonlight, stuff like that, by turning it into a token instead. So it's kind of a cool throwback to that. Same mana cost, a little bit better stats than Arcane Artisan, which is kind of nice. And the fact that it naturally has flying itself makes it a better attacker if there's nothing good on the top of your library. But overall, it was a fun deck. I do like this archetype. It's inherently clunky. It's the way that the deck is designed. It's the way that it plays. But it is a blast. It's great cheating Emrakuls and Atraxas and Archons into play as early as turn one and just seeing your opponent scoop. And we did get to see plenty of that. So I definitely do recommend the deck. It is a good deck. It is tried and tested. It's just kind of in a weird spot in the meta at the moment. But if you want to cheat big fat things into play, honestly, I think this is one of the better options between this and Reanimator. But anyways, thank you for stopping by. I hope you all had fun. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, do me a favor, hit that like and that sub button below. They are both free ways to support my channel and support my content. Make sure while you're at it, you also go stop by and follow me on all the other socials to see what I'm doing outside of the world of Magic. If you really like what you see and you really want to support the channel, or you have a crazy deck list you want to see played here, stop by the Patreon, submit a donation deck list. Whether it's a deck you want to see me play, a challenge for something you want to see me build, or you just want to see me play whatever the hell I feel like playing that week, stop by there. It is just the price of a league to get your deck on video. As always, thank you for stopping by. I hope you all had fun, and as always, stay salty.